Hooroo.
The FBI did not classify the Proud Boys as an extremist group or whatever.
This is for Justin Trouble. The FBI not classifying the Proud Boys as an extremist group.
Proud Boys are not an extremist group,
Of course not.
as the FBI has recently confirmed.
We knew this already. At least I did. I'm in contact with the police all the time.
You should stop reading fake news. Because anything else bad you have to say about us now, you gotta back it up. This is a win for us. This really was a win for us.
We'll come back to those guys in a little bit, thanks guys, but first, what is this all about? Folks, I woke up this morning and I got the clarion call from Rob Cantrell. He sent me a message about this, so I'm going to tell you. If you don't remember, Rob Cantrell is the guy that's being egged in this clip here from March 4th, 2017, as Eric Clanton, the bike lock attacker, looked on and laughed. Yeah, that's the kind of guy this quote-unquote freedom fighter is. Now, as you may know, a few months ago you may have seen the stories about Erin Wiley, the deputy sheriff of Clark County, Vancouver, Washington, being fired apparently for her affiliation with the Proud Girls, a sister group for the Proud Boys. We'll come back to her, but she is at the root of all this. As you may know, recently, I think it's been, a few weeks now? A few weeks ago, recently, a lot of people were claiming that the FBI classified the Proud Boys as an extremist group. Personally, or let's just say a LBGT, Muslim, PC, Antifa, communist persona of mine was seeing a lot of stuff in groups, social media groups of Antifa spreading this around. But it's interesting how these quote-unquote anarchists and these communists believe the FBI when it suits their narrative. But anyway, now the reason why I didn't do a video about this is because I went looking for the proof and I couldn't find any. As Russell the Proud Boy points out, if you go to the FBI website, for example, and typed in Proud Boys, you wouldn't get anything. But I looked into the news stories and it just didn't seem like it was going anywhere. So I waited to report on it, and if something happened, I knew something else would happen because it just there wasn't proof. Anyway, with all that heat, Gavin McInnes, the founder, not the leader, but the founder of the Proud Boys, stepped down. Here's a statement that he made regarding why.
As of today, November 21st, 2018, I'm officially disassociating myself from the Proud Boys. In all capacities, forever, I quit. I was told to use the term stepping down, but I refused because that makes no sense. I was never the leader, only the founder. Although the media will likely say Gavin McInnes steps down as leader of extremist hate group Proud Boys, because that's how they roll. I do all of this reluctantly, because I still see it as the greatest fraternal organization in the world, but rumors and lies and terrible journalism has made its way to the court system. And the NYC9, the Proud Boys arrested after I did a talk here in New York on October 12th, are facing serious charges. I'm told by my legal team and law enforcement that this gesture could help alleviate their sentencing. Fine. At the very least, this will show jurors they're not dealing with a gang and there's no head of operations. We are not an extremist group, and we do not have ties with white nationalists. We disavow all forms of alt-right, white supremacy, white nationalism, etc., etc. We are a multiracial club with blacks, Jews, gays, Asians, etc. We have created a legal defense fund for the boys. It's at fundthewest.org. These guys deserve legal representation. This is one of them, by the way. This is Big J with his wife and kids. He's fired now, thanks to this lazy journalism, and these kids are now at a severe disadvantage because their dad's no longer making money. Nice work, journalists. Activists will likely shut this page down. It's a sort of a bracelet system where you can buy anything from a $25 one to a $5,000 one, and all the proceeds go to their lawyers.
So again, why do people believe this rumor that the FBI classified the Proud Boys as an extremist group? Apparently just because it was reported. It all seems to stem from an excuse as to why they fired Erin Wiley from deputy sheriff. At least that's what it seems like to me. We'll get into that. Now, as far as I saw, Antifa was sharing this article right here. An internal affairs investigation document from the Clark County Sheriff's Office in Vancouver, Washington, explicitly stating the FBI considers the, quote, Proud Boys to be an extremist group with ties to white nationalism, unquote. November 19th, 2018, by Property of the People, or by Property of the People and Sparrow Project. with a PDF to that memo. Let's have a look at that memo. Clark County Sheriff's Office, Chuck E. Atkins, Sheriff, completed August 10, 2018. Complainant, Chief Criminal Deputy John Chapman. Involved employee, Deputy Sheriff Aaron Wiley. Allegation, a violation of the Sheriff's Office General Order, and I'm not going to read all that out. So in the summary on the third paragraph there, folks, you can see it says, prior to Aaron's release from probationary status, it was alleged that Aaron had knowingly and willingly affiliated herself with a fraternal organization known as the Proud Boys. It was further alleged that Aaron participated in the manufacturing and selling of Proud Boy girls apparel. And here it is, folks. The FBI categorizes the Proud Boys as an extremist group with ties to white nationalism. Okay, again, this is coming from Chuck E. Atkins, the sheriff. He is saying the FBI categorizes the Proud Boys as an extremist group with ties to white nationalism. He continues, the Proud Boy girls are believed to be an affiliate group of women who openly support the ideology of the Proud Boys. The FBI Seattle office is unsure of how many female members are active in the Pacific Northwest. The Columbia newspaper learned of Aaron's Proud Boys and Proud Boy Girls affiliation and contacted the sheriff's office. The Columbian submitted on July 2, 2018, a formal public disclosure request for Aaron Wiley's employment information and anything the sheriff's office had related to the Proud Boys. In the process of responding to the Columbian's public disclosure request, Under Sheriff Mike Cook learned that the newspaper staff had received from a source a side-by-side photo of Aaron wearing Proud Boy Girls apparel and also a photo of her wearing a patrol uniform. The investigation later determined that Aaron's ex-boyfriend, Graham Jorgensen, was likely the source of the Columbian's photo, and that he sent this photo as a form of retaliation because Aaron ended their relationship. Graham Jorgensen is a Proud Boys member. I noticed that on page 6 it says that the investigation uses various materials and sources. One of those sources is the Southern Poverty Law Center. Now, folks, if you don't know, recently the SPLC has just... they've lost, if they had credibility before, I don't know, but they certainly lost a lot of credibility because they started calling moderate, liberal, Muslim reformist Maji Nawaz, as just one example, an anti-Muslim extremist and engaged in hate speech and all that kind of sort of stuff, which is kind of silly because he is a Muslim. He's just not an extremist Muslim, so they're calling him an anti-Muslim extremist because he's not an extremist Muslim, just a Muslim. The SPs, and that's just one example, folks. I mean, they have no credibility. So now the instinct is, if they are going to call, for example, the Proud Boys an extremist group, then the instinct is, oh, well, I guess they're not an extremist group. All right, now here's something funny. On page 6, you can see here it says, it's talking about the logo on her shirt, and it says, the X symbol has been interpreted by activists on both sides. Activists on both sides, as a way for an individual or group to communicate their solidarity with the League of the South, LOS, a far-right Southern nationalist group. Okay, this is bullshit. See, the X symbol, this goes back to hardcore, and if it came from something before that, I don't know, and it's also used for other things. I've actually seen it used for South by Southwest, you know, the famous festival in Austin, Texas. As Austinites can tell you, I used to be one. But when I was a kid, this is something that, say, I would scribble on my notebooks or write on my own jacket for New York hardcore, for example. But then, you know, it could be SF hardcore, LA hardcore. It is probably not just for hardcore punk, but it was used for hardcore punk. Okay, now this symbol may have been appropriated by the League of the South, whoever that is. I don't really know, but it's not a white supremacist symbol any more than milk or the OK sign, or frogs, etc. Give us a break. Okay, but enough of the memo. It's quite long. Of course, I'll give you links to everything, including this memo. If you scroll down, you can click on the links. Please subscribe to me on BitChute as well, because, you know, videos like this might just get my channel shut down. Moving on, and this is the article that Rob sent to me this morning. December 4th, KGW 8 put this out. Proud Boys not designated as extremist group, FBI spokeswoman says. The Bureau contradicted an internal report from earlier this year. And the article reads, the FBI says the Bureau does not label the far-right hate group, the Proud Boys, as an extremist group, contradicting an internal report from earlier this year. The designation appeared in an August Internal Affairs report from Clark County Sheriff's Office, the one that we just looked at, and was posted online by the government transparency non-profit property of the people. That's the webpage we looked at. The report called the Proud Boys, quote, an extremist group with ties to white nationalism, unquote. In a statement to KGW on Tuesday, FBI Portland spokeswoman Beth Ann Steele said the FBI does not designate groups in that manner. So that's one FBI source, apparently, or reportedly one FBI spokesperson saying that this is not true. Also on December 4th, Big League Politics put this out. Speaking to members of the press Tuesday, FBI Special Agent in Charge, Ren Cannon, said that the federal agency had not intended to designate the Proud Boys as an extremist organization, contrary to reports indicating otherwise. He maintained that the FBI simply wanted Clark County law enforcement to be aware of potential violence from individual members of the group. Okay, so reportedly we have a second FBI person saying that this is not true. Further down in this report, they say, now we find out that the FBI apparently never characterized the organization with that term. Speaking to Big League Politics, Proud Boys chairman Enrique Tarrio gave a statement on the development. Quote, this development shouldn't be surprising anybody. A police commander from a department known to be hostile to us made the claim in order to justify firing a police officer seen in a Proud Boys girls picture. As it turns out, he was either lying or completely misinformed. We are simply a fraternal organization with members of all races who go out and drink beer. The only thing we're extreme about is our patriotism, unquote. It remains to be seen if the characterization of the Proud Boys as extremists by media organizations and supposedly federal law enforcement will affect the future of the organization, or if the fake news media will correct the record. Well, folks, it does seem so far I've seen reports from RT, the Oregonian/Oregon Live, of course KGW 8, and by the time you watch this, probably more media outlets. So that's good to see. I mean, usually this sort of thing gets buried. Now, of course, you may remember Rob from past videos. Here's the guy that you can see being egged here. And again, he has since become a Proud Boys member. With his permission, I'm going to show you a little bit of this live stream that he made about this subject.
Uhuru. Uhuru is Swahili. That's right, something we borrowed from our African friends. It means freedom. I'm a Proud Boy, motherfuckers. And Proud Boys are not an extremist group, as the FBI has recently confirmed. You should stop reading fake news. Because anything else bad you have to say about us now, you gotta back it up. This is a win for us. This really was a win for us. So I'm gonna come on right now. I'm gonna go live. We need to get this out there. You saw how fast the news was spreading about us being an extremist group. Well, now that the FBI has confirmed that we aren't classified as an extremist group, we need to get that spread just as fast, because a lot of people's lives have been damaged by this moron sheriff in Washington that decided to defame us. He needs to be brought to justice. He needs to be held accountable. Everybody who had anything to do with anything defaming any of my brothers needs to be held accountable. And I swear, they better hope and pray that Van Dyke doesn't take their asses to civil court. I'm hoping that all of y'all will do your own live feeds. I only have a certain circle of people that watch me. So I'm hoping that you all will put it out there in your own networks and get it out. And Trump can't even put out a message. It would be great if Trump would step up and say, see, y'all a bunch of morons listening to fake news. But, you know, we should feel lucky enough that he called out Antifa. You know, we got the president on our side for that. You think Obama would ever called out those punks? No. Every single news outlet out there that has been running with this needs to be called on it. Don't let even one single critic slither away with this. This is our celebration, guys. This was something that could have destroyed us, and very simply, the truth set us free. With all the news outlets that have been putting this forward, you know how many, all across the nation they've been doing this. All the news outlets that you thought were unbiased, that were reputable, that were reliable. Now, you think you want to doubt when Trump said that fake news is an enemy to the people? Imagine if they had gone just a little bit further and said we need to get these Proud Boys off the street because of how they are. And all of you that support the Proud Boys through all this, I love you. I really do. I wish you all had people I can all him, and then I wish I was gay so that I would enjoy that shit. But I love the support that you guys get.
All right. This is for Justin Trouble, because he's a good dude, and he's done a lot to help out the all the right-wing movements.
That's very nice of you to say, Russell. Thank you very much. But, you know, I'm not really right-wing. I'm actually, well, I mean, I'm right-wing when it comes to the Second Amendment. But see, I can understand, because these days, if you stand up for freedom and equality and just fairness, then you end up defending right-wing groups pretty much most of the time. I mean, all the time, actually.
So, the FBI not classifying the Proud Boys as an extremist group. Of course not. We knew this already. At least I did. I'm in contact with the police all the time. David Machado, who is a part of Patriot Prayer and is also a Proud Boy, has a regular contact with the FBI. And all the information I've got on my doxing, because most of the doxing is from me, I've given to David, and David passes it on to the FBI. Then I pass it on to the Portland Police Bureau, the Vancouver Police Bureau, Clark County Police, Multnomah County Police. The Proud Boys are far from being an extremist group. Everybody who's worth their salt, who doesn't partake in propaganda, whether it be right or whether it be left, knows that the Proud Boys have never instigated violence against anyone, including the leftists, unless it was in self-defense. Not one time ever have they ever done that. So, that being said, let's just set the story straight for once. But although this is kind of a back deal, because, you know, it's kind of nice having all this negative propaganda against the Proud Boys, because that garners us more media attention when people think that we're like evil and violent, blah, blah, blah. That works more to our favor. That helps us in recruiting when we're on the defensive. When we're on the upper, people are like, yeah, well, what, no big deal. But you have us on as an underdog, people are driving to join up with us. So, in a way, this is good news and this is bad news, because our recruitment's going to go down, but our media and negativity is going to like, oh, okay, yeah, the leftist media is lying again. Of course they're lying. But we're going to lose recruitment, because people are less likely to sign up with us if they think that we're like, you know, we don't need people. But as it is, Proud Boys are growing so fast right now that I cannot even keep up. Half the people that are joining, I can't even trust. I got to vet them myself, and it takes so long, because I'm kind of like standoffish and aloof as it is. It's just how I am. So anyway, you new Proud Boys, don't take it or too personal. If I'm distant with you, I'm just figuring you out. So you know who you can trust, who you can't. And it really don't matter, because if you're a leftist, I'm going to love you just as much as if you're a Proud Boy brother. You know, I don't hate any leftists. Not at all. I love everyone, whether you're an American or not American. Although I do have a preference. If you're an American, I will show preference to you over a foreigner if it comes to something pertaining to being American. Now, if it pertains to somebody in another country like Mexico, being a Mexican, I'm going to side with them. I don't give a shit. It's about right and wrong and everything else. It's not about this and this and this and this. It's not racial. It's not ethnic. It's about principle. And you leftists haven't figured that part out yet. And that's why you're losing the culture war. Tooties.
Thanks a lot for your help, and thank you and Rob and all the Proud Boys and everybody else out there who does this sort of thing, who puts their bodies on the line to protect innocent people and also to protect the Constitution, the rights of everyone. So thank you, Russell. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, everyone else. Let's go to officialproudboys.com for a written statement from the Proud Boys. The FBI admits Proud Boys aren't extremists. After virtually every news outlet in America claimed we were an, quote, extremist organization, unquote, designated by the FBI, an FBI special agent has admitted that we aren't. And they do not intend to label us as such, saying, quote, we don't designate groups, but we do investigate conspiracies, unquote. Also, quote, we do not intend and did not intend to designate the group as extremist, unquote, tweeted by Bernstein. Then they write, I wonder if the media is going to cover this development as much as the original claim. Well, probably not, but at least some of them are covering it. Well, there you go, folks. Tell us what you think about this. Leave us a comment below. Make sure you subscribe to us on BitChute, please, because, you know, we keep getting strikes on this channel. Also, scroll down to the description for links to everything, every source that I use. You can see for yourself to see if I'm lying. Fact check me. All right, folks, thanks for watching. Until next time, give me liberty or give me death.